Hey everyone, it is All-Star Ethan here, and we are back for like a match analysis type video. Now, I've not done one of these for a fair few months, but after posting one quite recently that I made a while back and getting some really good feedback on it again, I found inspired to make a new one. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you how to win when you got randoms in your match. Now, once we come off the expert guide menu, we actually turn away from the Bloodhound Trials here due to there being a team there. Now, I think it's a wise move by my teammates because they were going to get there before us. And also, when you're playing with randoms, rather than when you're in a squad, is that you don't really know how your team's going to fare from a 50-50 fight at the start of the game, dropping on another team. Now, when I'm with a pre-made squad, I, by no means, I enjoy actually dropping on other teams, even if there's 2 or 3 there, because I can trust my teammates. I know that they're good, and I know they can handle themselves, not only in a 1v1, but maybe even a 1v2 or 1v3 as well. However, with randoms, you don't know that. For all they know, I could be really bad. I could get like 10 damage done and then die. So I think really wise choice actually by my teammates to get away from that one there. Now, we're going to start off as we always do. We're looking for a body shield and a gun. We've managed to grab ourselves an alternator at the moment. And then once we've done that, we're going to try and switch with other things. So we get an R99, and I pick up the heavy ammo there as well, although we don't have a heavy weapon, because we are going to be wanting to find ourselves a heavy weapon as well. Now, the Revenant's pinged over there. I think it's towards Bloodhound Trials, which is fair enough. We're going to head over there very shortly, so I need to make sure I don't venture too far into Skyhook here whilst we just grab ourselves some starting loot. And there we go, there's the heavy weapon we want. The reason we do this is because we don't want to be trying to find 2 lots of light extended mags, etc. throughout the match there as well, whereas at least if we got a heavy weapon, there's a higher chance basically of finding a heavy extended mag and a light extended mag. It's easier to switch between them, depending obviously on what your teammates got as well. Now, I ping that we're attacking the Bloodhound Trials there because that's what I want to go do. Now, they actually go and do it immediately, whereas I want to go in here, grab the Prowler. We kept the select fire for that very reason, and a blue shield as well. Now, I actually pinged the exact, the proper ping there for attacking them to let our teammates know exactly what we wanted to do there. Now, they actually pushed in a little bit soon. I'm just going to pause it here. They pushed in quicker than I personally would have wanted. It's not too bad to be a Pathfinder, we can catch up easily. However, I wanted to take the top route. I wanted them to maybe push the bottom. I was going to push the top route and flank around. But because they've pushed in so early, I've had to go the bottom route with them because they're going to get into a fight sooner than I would have originally wanted. And basically, this is the reason that you've got to alter your game plan when you're playing with randoms. If I was in a squad there, we could have timed our attack perfectly, but obviously with randoms, that isn't going to happen. That's maybe my bad for pinging the attacking ping on it. I wanted to let them know what I was going to be doing, not what I'm doing right this current second instead. So we'll see how this plays out. We actually have to go in here and just give them a little bit of backup. Because otherwise I would be spending about 10-15 seconds getting up onto the top, and they could be dead by the time I even come in to help out. So we're actually going to throw some frags in cover. Now, this is because our Revenant got really weak here. So we're just throwing frag grenades, making sure they don't push, because if that team is like me, if I've seen that I've done, over 100 damage on somebody like they did to our Revenant, I'll be pushing that stuff. So the grenades there were just in case they were pushing. Now we get our flank around. You've got to use our legend abilities to their utmost efficiency. And we actually see somebody on here, but I know I've got the jump on them. Actually managed to break the shield there. Not very good Prowler shots, but she actually starts getting shot by somebody else. So again, I'm just going to pause it here. I dip out this fight. I know my teammates are still down at the bottom. They've not come with me. They've not taken that zip line. And this Wraith that I've been shooting actually starts getting shot by somebody else. I don't want to be there when all of that team comes up from the bottom, Bloodhound Trials, and it comes up and starts shooting once they realise their teammate is in is in a fight. So I'm actually dipping down this mountain here, and we're going to try and get a heal off whilst we're falling because, well, you may as well at this point. I mean, you're not going to be going any slower. And we actually see them drop down there, and look, there we go. There's actually 3 bodies. So that means that there was a teammate that came in to help out. So I probably would have got lasered if I didn't drop down at the start there. And they actually both dropped down on me there. Managed to knock one, fortunately. Turned this into a 1v1, but he's got the high ground. Not ideal for me, and can't quite finish it off with the Prowler. I'm going to switch to the R99. I'm better at this kind of range with the R99. And he took 11 damage anyway, actually. But I got put onto 1 health there. Now, that's not actually too bad, because my teammates are in a good position there. They were still in Bloodhound Trials looting at that point, whereas, especially the Octane should definitely have been coming over. The Revenant is making his way over, fortunately, but the Octane there should definitely be coming in to help us. Fortunately, I survived. So we're going to focus, obviously, on heals and ammunition. at the moment as well, especially things like shield batteries, phoenix kits, etc. Especially when I'm this low on health as well, heals is exactly what I'm wanting. So I'm going to grab all of that stuff. There's unfortunately not a better shield swap in there, so I'm going to actually have to heal up this blue one. But I did actually just remember that the Octane pinged the purple one in Bloodhound Trials. We're going to have to go grab that, but we got another team on us here as well. Now, pausing here. He didn't make it all the way to the top. He actually dropped on that subsection there. Now, I don't think he's seen me go up the zip wire, partly because he was still in the air. He was still flying and possibly was concentrated on my two teammates down below and probably saw me down below. I don't think he's noticed me go up the zip wire. Usually because he wouldn't be expecting it. There's not usually a zip wire there. So, going up here, taking this high ground immediately. I thought he was going to go all the way to the top. Now, I actually jump on him here instead of taking the zip line because he would be able to hit the zip line. And it's a nice, easy finisher anyway on this guy. I mean, absolutely no problems. He was too busy concentrating on my teammates. He was actually watching them go up my zip line in the end there without realizing I'd already gone up it. So we're going to get a shield sealed up. Now, like I say, normally I wouldn't go into Bloodhound Trials at this point. I'll start moving on to Drill Site, but I do remember there was a purple shield that the Octane pinged a little while back as well. So I'm going to go down there and grab that whilst we got the chance. Looks like Revenant is sticking to a white shield here, or white Evo shield. I do see a white Evo shield in there, but no, at this point in the match, man, I'm taking a purple. I am, for sure. So, we put a ping there on Drill Site. We've got to let our randoms know what we're doing as well. So they're all on the same page. I mean, Drill Site is the obvious place to go at this point as well. Which actually brings me on to saying, I do actually like dropping in Sky Hill. I know that we didn't intend necessarily to drop here, or I wasn't Jump Master at least, and intended to drop here. However, I actually do like it as a drop site because you've got these towers here. I'm actually just going to wait for my teammates to catch me up here. They take a little while. They're doing a lot of looting, my teammates, which is absolutely fine. I guess they must need some meds and things like that, especially the Revenant. He's not healed up his health yet. But yeah, I do like dropping here because of the two jump towers. So this one and the one in Drill Site, you can easily rotate into Train Yard. Now, I still need these extended mags. I somehow haven't found any after 4 kills. And you'll notice during some of the fights that we've just had and some of the future fights that we're going to have is that not having extended mags is a big problem, basically. We almost lose fights because of it. Because with a 20 bullet Prowler, if somebody's got a purple shield, you can't one-clip those guys. I mean, I've not actually done the math. Maybe you can with enough headshots. But no, you definitely you need some mags, especially at this point in the game. Everybody's going to be having those purple shields. So finding extended mags for me is an absolute must. Now, I shoot down the cargo, but managed to finally find it because there's usually, or sometimes, heavy extended mags. I'm just going to pause it here. Okay, Octane does a good job here. All right, I'm busy messing around with the loot crate, trying to find an extend mag. Couldn't find one. I'm hoping the Revenant picks up this purple shield, especially because he's still at half health for whatever reason. There were lots of syringes and medkits in those death boxes. I have absolutely no idea. But the Octane does a good job here. He pings these enemies. Now, looking on my screen at the moment, I know that I've got my Octane to the right. The Revenant was with me messing around with the loot box as well. Hopefully he's picking up that purple. And what I'm going to want to do here is I'm going to want to flank around to the left and get on that high ground. At the moment, they've got us at an advantage, basically. They have the height advantage on us, and we are in kind of this open where there's not a great deal of cover. They've got some supply bins and things to hide behind. They can head glitch on the height on those cliff faces as well. So I'm going to want to try and flank around there. I just need to make sure that my teammates are doing a good enough job at keeping them busy in the meantime. So let's see what happens. So there we go. I've registered that they're up there. I decide to flank around. I let my teammates know what I'm doing as well. Put a ping here. I let them know that I'm heading around here. I'm moving. All right, don't be afraid. Now the Octane gets absolutely lasered here and goes down straight away. But the Revenant has popped his tome, which is good. However, it would be better if he wasn't already at half health. But we get the flank. Now that Bloodhound, if I had an extended man, he's dead. So this is why it's so important. I would have one-clipped him. I wouldn't have had to go down here and waste this time, which is just more time that the Revenant's being shot at. But we do manage to do it, and I hear the footsteps on this side as well. I know she's coming ready. We can pre-aim it almost, and it's a nice, easy finish. She actually gets more damage on me there than I really would have liked, but we're absolutely okay. I've got enough time to pop a bat off here as well. The Revenant, I think, has downed somebody over there, and it looks like he's getting the res off as well. I'm looking for the golden knockdown, but it wasn't either of those guys, and I actually believe later on in the match you'll see we come across a gold death box with a golden knockdown shield in it, and I believe that was the one the Revenant knocked, so that's why that team didn't die straight away. Initially, I was looking for the gold knockdown, and I was like, oh no, they must still have a teammate alive, because neither of them has one. And I wasn't too sure, because I was fighting, obviously, when the Revenant was as well. Now, I'm just going to talk here. I loot for far too long on this bit. I'm prattling around wondering whether there's an Arcstar, etc. And this is what happens because I was looting too much, okay? This team pushes us. Now, if I was a little bit faster there, just grabbing the ammo, I think what was happening was I was a little bit too concerned about getting some extended mags. And I was searching the death boxes loads for them, even though obviously I could see that there weren't any there. So then I was deciding, oh, do I pick up an Arcstar instead, etc. That's something I need to work on. I need to loot a lot faster than I do right now. And it allowed this team to actually come up on us here and pushes really, really, really hard. Now, if I wasn't looting as much, I would have been watching this field, and we basically could have cut them down because, you know, it's like, you know, Dothraki horses on an open field, Ned, kind of thing. We would have had the high advantage. They would have had no cover. I could have absolutely just mown them down with the R99 at that point. Certainly broke a fair few shields. At least stopped this push. However, right now, because I spent too long looting, big mistake on my part. They managed to push up, and they're basically right on our doorstep. My teammates, I think, are still actually doing things as well. You see down in the bottom left there, the Revenant is still healing. So I've kind of got to try and take this one on my own. Now, I pop a few shots off just to try and force them back. But we don't do a great deal of damage, and it does not work in forcing them back, so we have to quickly get out of here. I grapple away. I'm on too low health at this point. It's a couple of shots and I'm dead. Hoping my teammates can help me out. I actually get the shield swap here, which is very, very important because an Octane just jump us down. If I was popping a shield back there instead, I was dead, basically. So shield swap, absolutely important. I see there's another shield on this care package as well, so I'll quickly grab that. Much quicker than doing a battery, even if you've got to run for it a little bit. Now, my Octane's gone down. I'm hoping the Revenant can come and help out a little bit. But he is now down as well, so I've got to push this Wraith while I've got the chance, basically. I believe that their third is either healing up or trying to finish one of my teammates. I'm not too sure, but either way, I'm only a couple of shots of death here. Now, I finished that kill, and I'm just going to pause it here. So, ideally, I wanted to finish the Wraith there. She's the one that had the gold knockdown. However, I finished the other one. Now, the reason for that is because basically I'm going to be wanting to pop a Phoenix kit behind these boxes. Now, if I left the other one alive as well, that means that the Wraith can do her self-res, and then their third teammate can revive the other one, and I'm going to be facing a 3v1, even whilst I am full health with a Phoenix kit whilst they're doing that. However, at the moment, what's happened is because I've knocked one of them, I know that once I've got this Phoenix kit off, even if the Wraith has gotten up, which she might not do, I think I can take the fight before the Wraith gets up, because it takes quite a while to do that, and she's probably not started self-resing straight away, especially as I just shot the person next to her. So I think we've got that little bit of time advantage. Basically, once I'm full health, I'm then going to be basically up against their third player, who might also be full health. I don't mind that, I can take that. Plus, perhaps the Wraith if she's gotten up, but she's going to be on low health unless she's got a gold backpack, in which case she's going to be still not on full health. And I would much sooner take that 2v1 rather than sort of a 3v1, which is what would have happened if I didn't just finish off that kill there. And certainly I'd rather take it than the 1v1 against their third teammate whilst I only have, I mean, looking at that there, I've got, what, 50 max health? Yeah, I don't fancy that, especially because he might be fully shielded. I don't know, I have no idea what kind of damage the Revenant did to him. So we're going to pop the Phoenix kit here. And someone will be like, oh, a risky situation to put the Phoenix kit in, especially when one's got gold knockdown. But like I say, I would much sooner take on a 2v1 with full health. So we're going to do exactly that. Now I'm listening for footsteps, I'm listening for the self-res. I hear the self-res go off now, so she was really late doing that, so we had loads of time. She's going to be up in just a moment. Easily take that one. There we go. We've just about finished that up now. Just going to pause that there. Okay, so I was actually... I posted this clip on Reddit a little while ago, and I actually had some comments saying that one of the mistakes I made was switching my... basically not keeping track of what ammo's in what gun, and switching my Prowler to the R99 at the end there when my R99 was unloaded. So basically, I used my clip in the Prowler, I switched weapons to an unloaded R99, which I then had to reload, which obviously takes time. And when I first saw the comment, I was like, yeah, no, thanks for those tips, that's pretty good. And then watching this back now, I actually realised that there was a reason I did that. And it's because the Prowler's got 7 bullets left in it. So I know even if I reloaded the Prowler, I only had 7 bullets, and I don't know whether that was enough to kill the Wraith or not. It might have done, but considering looking at our bottom screen now, we used all 20 of our R99 bullets. I'm thinking that 7 wouldn't have been enough. So that's the reason why I switched to an unloaded gun, even though it took that extra fraction of a second there. So whereas I thought, and from the initial comment, I was like, oh yeah, you know, you're right, I wasn't keeping track of what guns reloaded. Instead, what I was doing was I was keeping track of what ammo's in each gun, which I think is a little bit more important. But we finally managed to finish that one up anyway, and you can see that we actually... She came up with shields as well, so she did have a gold backpack. Now, I'm going to try and get to this Octane in time, but unfortunately we don't actually make it here, so he's going to have to grab his banner instead. You can see there you go. It's got 7 bullets in the Prowler, and now it's reloaded, so I definitely need some heavy ammo. Yeah, again, we actually do worse off in that fight than we needed to. We came closer to death because we don't have any extended mags. This is what I mean by them being so important. I mean, the amount of times I had to reload during those fights was absolutely ridiculous, and switch weapons and everything. It almost got me killed. That fight would have been just a lot easier, especially even when I killed the Wraith initially, or knocked down the Wraith initially. I finally find purple extended mag, good stuff. We just need the ammo to put in it now. There's some ammo, great stuff. Because yeah, when I first attacked the Wraith and knocked her down as well, it took a lot. I had to switch weapons basically to get the knock on her. Whereas if I had a purple mag or something on the Prowler, I could have got her all in one clip. So just grabbing ammo here. The Octane's going to have to wait. Now the reason for this is because there's only 3 teams left. I don't want to have to go all the way over to Train Yard, respawn him in, and then come and grab gear. And obviously we would have to come and grab gear as well because we needed ammo. We had 7 heavy bullets. We needed a extended mag as well. There's the gold box I was talking about earlier that I believe has a gold knockdown in it, which is why that team didn't quite die. Let's just double check this. Oh, no gold knockdown. Maybe it's been taken already. Oh, that's probably taken by the other team. It's probably that Wraith that had it, right? So this is the reason why we didn't spawn the Octane in straight away, or certainly the reason I didn't go straight to this respawn beacon was because basically I wanted to make sure I was geared up, healthy enough, had enough ammunition to take a fight. Otherwise, if we respawn him now, if there's any teams in the nearby vicinity whatsoever, they would be straight on us, and I mean, having no heavy ammo, things like that, it wouldn't be a good fight for us, basically. We could potentially get absolutely dropped, whereas now, what can happen is we can spawn him in, and I can actually hang around the area as well, make sure he's protected. I checked the vault here, but see it's already open. I was checking that because obviously if it was still closed, if we could go get it, the Octane could potentially go get some gear from there. But I believe he's actually going to go all the way over to his death box, which I think is still actually inside the ring, which is good. So we're going to take these crates here. There is only 3 squads left. We could go over with the Octane, but I want to secure this position. I don't want somebody else to secure these crates whilst we're gone, basically, because we don't know where they are now. And I actually finally hear gunshots coming from West Fragment here, so I obviously let my teammates know about that as well. Now, I want to push in for this, because 3 teams left. If the other 2 teams are fighting, you want to then go in there and basically third party the situation whilst they're weak. There hasn't been any knocks in the kill feed yet, though, so I'm a little bit skeptical, and the shooting has slowed down. It seems more like long range shooting, so I'm actually going here more to kind of have a look out and hoping that maybe one of the teams pushes the other one quite hard and we can go and join the fight. I have the Revenant right behind me, and the Octane is coming up the rear as well. Now, I'm just going to pause that here. So, first things first. The Octane, when he went to go grab his gear, there's a little choke point in that mountain there as well. Now, if I was in a squad, if I was communicating properly with the team, what I'd be doing there is probably telling my teammate to actually flank around, and we'd pincer these 2 teams. Now, it's actually a good idea. I mean, it's a good job we didn't do that, because there was a team there just on my right as I came through the corner. I guess it's on my left now as you look at the screen. And I decided to back off because I hear footsteps. The shooting stopped, which means the teams have probably dispersed from one another, and there could be a full team there. So I decided to basically get myself straight back to my Revenant here as well. And this is where Pathfinder is so useful. You can use him as a scout just because he's got the grapple to escape if needs be. Revenant places the ultimate, which is actually fantastic, and we can pop down a couple of grenades, force some pressure on them there. So we have one of them darting off across that way. I have no idea what the Revenant's doing with his silencers there. If you want to watch the video back and just look out for the Revenant silencers. So like a little Easter egg, and maybe leave a comment telling me what on earth he's doing with them. So I'm trying to chase this kill here, but they've got a gold shield, so they can get healed up really quickly. And I start getting a triple take on me as well. Death protection is about to run out, so we decide to retreat here, which was a good idea because they actually had a teammate that was hanging around here still. And I feel bad for this teammate because his squad member just ditched him there completely. And we actually get the trainer's cover from this triple take here, which is fantastic timing more than anything, allowing us to pop off a shield battery. I could have probably done the finisher in order to get my shield up on that person, but I didn't know who was still around here as well. I didn't know if that team with the triple take was going to push us or not. Turns out that they don't, or they didn't at least. And they're still on the construction thing, so I think what we're going to have to do now is actually head back to the train yard. Because I think both of those teams are perhaps going to wrap through that choke point back where the Octane death box was. So if we can get ourselves this way, and we still don't have a good light mag. We've got a level 1, which is fine. If we push ourselves back this way, we can get ourselves up onto the crates and into the best position. in order to try and finish off this game. Now, we already know that one of the teams is weak, at least, because we've killed one of their players. Now, there might actually only be one left in that team, because I did not see their third member at all during that, and I'd find it hard to believe that their third person wasn't around anyway. Now, I see somebody has obviously already looped around to those cages. They were pretty quick going through that straight point. I've got to say, they were fast on that. I wanted to be quicker. I wanted to try and catch them out, but maybe we spent a little bit too much time looting and heating up, and they were just fast. So I put down a defensive ping there just to let my teammates know that this is what we want to keep. Don't push this at the moment. Let's just keep this. Let's wait until we know where the third team is. So you see one has actually just maneuvered there and gone up into the other crate as well. And there you go, look, Revenant Silence. I have no idea. Someone tell me. Is he doing them to use them as cover? At this point? I don't know. I really don't. Like I say, little Easter egg on the Revenant Silence. Just keep your eye out on them. And then there's one on the roof for whatever reason. I think that was an enemy one though. Now, I thought that this was the same team initially, but now they're shooting each other. I realised that they're different teams, and you see me there teabagging in front of the Wraith, having a little bob up and down. Now, what I've actually done is I've gone onto mic and I've said, I'm just going to pause it here. I've gone onto microphone and I've actually said, right, when your ult is ready, we're going to push one of these cages, and I'm going to ping out the one that we're going to push, basically. And I said we're going to push the one on the right hand side. And I was bobbing up and down there to see whether he understood my message, because he wasn't on mic himself, and he did. He bobbed up and down as well. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Now, if you're like me and don't really like talking to randoms, please don't be afraid to occasionally go on mic and say something if it's a specific instruction, especially like late on in the game where it's quite important. It's really, really worth it, because earlier on the Revenant's been using his totems, and not all three of us have been going on them due to various things. One of them I was flanking around, so I was nowhere near it. The second one, the Octane, was too far behind us. The totem is the most effective when we're all pushing it and all pushing the same area at the same time. So that's why I went on comms, to make sure that we were fully linked up, and we all know exactly what we're doing here. So we're just waiting for the totem. So he's being the one on the left. But I've already said down the mic that I want to do the one on the right hand side, because I think the one on the right hand side is the one that's got a solo player in. That's the reason I want to go for that one. Whereas I believe the other one has 2 or 3 players in. So I was watching out here. Got to pop off a couple of shots, make sure they retreat back. So now I've popped those shots off. She's probably gone back to hit Lil a little bit. But she has got gold shield, so it will be fast heals on there. So there's the Rev Totem. Now we can push it all together. So you see all of us straight on it instantly within a fraction of a second of each other. We're all on the same zip line, going to the same thing. And we come in here. Now, I know I'm going to die. But that doesn't matter, because we broke a shield. And we're going to come and join in the fight as well. Make sure it's all finished off. I notice my teammate has done it there. And there we go. We get the assisted elimination. She is completely down and out. So that's one of the teams done. And now we're actually in a good position, because we have the other team just to the side of us there as well. Now, we don't have an ultimate, unfortunately. And noticing back in that death box, there is actually a purple extended light mag that I just, for some reason, don't pick up. Do not see. So we're going to throw some thermites in here, because I know that they are indeed in there. I want to try and force them out a little bit, or at least get the tick damage so I can see how many people are in there. And I get a little bit confused, because that doesn't hit anybody, and I really feel like it shouldn't. So again, look, I get the purple standard stock, but I leave the extended light mag for some reason. Yeah, they're definitely in there this time. So again, we throw a thermite. I know they're exactly there. And here we go. So it's burning up 2. I know there's only 2 people in there. One of them's Flesh, which is the Revenant. We get the knock on him as well. So we force him out. I think he was dead either way there. Either he jumped out and we shot him, or the thermite burned him up. So we know there's only one player in there now. So this game is basically done at this point, but it is a Corsic in here. You can tell by the gas, obviously. And we get ourselves onto the roof in a good position here, trying to destroy some gas traps if we can do. So the end of this game is more of a formality. I mean, have a look at the Revenant Silences again. Not sure what he's doing there. But the Corsic actually pushes up onto us, and yeah, we actually almost fall off chasing him. Have to go into the ring, take some damage as well. So yeah, if we lose this match, I mean, something has gone terribly, terribly wrong. But the Corsic is doing his utmost to try and drag this out as long as possible. I mean, it's 3v1, and then he decides to push the roof, which I'm quite glad he does there, actually, because otherwise that really, really could have dragged out and gone on for the other minute when he would eventually have to move because of the ring. But we managed to take him down with the Prowler on there as well. And like I say, it was a formality at that point. That game was won in fact. I'm just going to pause it in a second. But that game was won the moment we did that rev push with the totem, which is what I was saying of it being so important to occasionally communicate things, even if you don't like talking properly on mic. I'll switch mine on just for 5 seconds, just to say something that's relatively important. And I usually find it gets listened to at that point as well, especially, I mean, if you're not on mic all the time, that means they've not muted you. So they will actually listen to you, and usually as well, I mean, if I'm having the kind of game I was having there where I was kill leader, they'll definitely listen to my instructions on that as well, and usually it's a good idea anyway, and common sense will prevail on that one. But looking at our stats here, you can see, obviously, playing randoms, I don't expect too much of them, and the most important thing there was basically being able to help them out in fights, and using my teammates almost to my advantage in a way. So a lot of the times I'm flanking around them. I'm using them as decoys almost whilst I go and do other things. So that was that one where I took the zipline up to the Bloodhound Trials, then the dude was too busy shooting them as they took the zipline up. Then there was also the fight where I flanked around the left-hand side as well while the Revenant was doing his whole totem thing that they were focusing on. And then we had the other fight as well where I managed to get a few shield swaps off, managed to take down the Octane whilst the Revenant was busy dealing with other ones as well. I mean, obviously they all went down in that scenario, but fortunately we got the clutch. It would have been a lot easier if I had extended mags. That fight would have been a lot easier. It looked a lot harder than it was, purely because we couldn't one clip anybody basically. But you see there, 12 kills, almost, pretty much 2,600 damage. I obviously popped off on that one a little bit, and I did the majority of the work. I did a lot of the hard labor there, but my teammates, they did both survive to the end, and I think that they were both useful in their own rights as well. I believe that what could have been more useful was maybe a few more Octane jump pads into areas and things like that. And with the Revenant totems, they were absolutely bang on most of the time, especially once we could communicate using them all together. Anyway, I really hope you enjoyed that one. If you did, leave the leave the like, comment, and do the subscribe thing. Makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside as well. And yeah, let me know what the Revenant was doing with his silencer there. Any Revenant mains out there, maybe you can give me a little bit of insight on that one. Either way, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.